Hi, Travis.
Pretty good, how are you doing? Everything going well up there?
Yeah,
As to be expected?
it's always an adventure. It's good.
Yeah, that's
That's true.
it's always an adventure. It is just every day.
Yes.
How often do you guys
Probably on average, I'd say we have 3 to 5 a day.
Really?
And then on some weekends, some Fridays, we're only as many as 15. So,
What do you do to eat that many days? Is that really
sometimes, and sometimes we have to just cover, we'll find a teacher that can cover here, and so we just get all the staff at the high school to kind of cover. We've got pretty good staff, so it doesn't go on me as much, but it does come here and there. When we exhaust their options. So Sherry, that documents I sent to you.
Those documents that you sent me, yes.
I'm just not sure. So I had some people in here making a change. I don't know what time I'm actually going to do So,
Just talk to us.
I don't know.
Send the update to me and I'll upload it.
It's the same. I mean, it's just, so it's fixed now. So if you hold it.
Okay, I'll make a note and print it off tomorrow. And do it when it's correct.
Couple of things that some people.
All right, I'll make a note.
How is that construction coming up there, Merle?
Good.
Yeah? You need a head, Sherry?
Let me see how many I've got.
How's it going? Right here where I got
Three more, Matt.
Famous golfer?
What's that?
You coming to see our famous golfer?
Yeah.
Isn't that something? That's so proud of her. Pretty cool. See that?
She's worked hard.
I know.
Okay. So that just means people's left order maybe a little bit later?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, we thought that maybe we would like to get some stuff. It's hard to do business, right?
Yeah, it is.
No, don't worry, we can be, that's
That's
no problem. Thank you.
Brad, you cleaned up pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's like once a year.
That's kind of the question between the site, because that's how what we're going to have to show is that there is a disparity between them and their peers and how much of the spectrum, if it ever does go to referral. Yeah, because proposing to switch that question back to this one. I do 100% agree with the date in this slide because that gives you the information.
What's going on there?
So when you can learn about your data, you're going to have sometimes that there are all of those components, but what about social emotional? What about behavior? Can we put in a component for that? Just so that it stays on the forefront of SST, not just for academic efficiency, since it's also for social emotional behavior. And I think you should, but one of the unintended consequences of that is that people are like, oh, it's the same. It's not the same as far as like the reading math of everything, but it is the same as far as the procedures. So, I would count that somehow because those people that are academic experts are being impacted by and they're going to be
How are you guys?
They're saying timelines, ideas, and they want us to help solve it together. This team wants to help solve it.
and then regardless of the team, the person that's referring to teaching.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it just didn't make sense.
When she was here on Monday,
Would it be, would it be?
so it's not easy. You give me a second. And I need to
I'm coming. I didn't realize
She came last Friday. I don't know. She was but it was good.
yeah, I just.
So you can just sit there and buy there.
Yeah.
Start getting 3 or 4 down here. Not that I don't have enough. Yeah, there's more rats in our saver, you know. That's how we do it.
Well, this is not the game, so. Like some formal? C93. Walkthroughs, just to give them something positive to take from it, like that. That's
That's okay. Thank you.
I think I'll do it. Are we really? I don't think we all need to. I think this is tomorrow. Something new.
I tell you what, it's way easier seeing it come through those doors rather than touching it. I know. Hey, Ben. No, I know. Trying to make your own.
I'm good, thank you. I'm Raina Jones.
Did you really? Really?
They have me bring cameras, so I started about a year ago. Hayden went to school. Yeah, so I'll be taking over the school board stuff. I'm happy with it. Yeah, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
I don't think the kids mind having it there, but oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I guess it's not a great idea.
I get a nurse discount. That's as good as I get.
Come and go. All right. This is not the
Cassie, join us tonight.
Good, how are you? Good. How's baby? Doing well? She is. Good. That's thank goodness, because
We'll see how well you talk.
I don't like the emergency room anymore than I have. With 5 kids, I see it more than once. Yeah. Sit or not?
Yeah, you gotta sit real quick. I haven't yet. All righty. I think we've got everybody in now, right? I think so. Need to call to order this Uinta County School District Number 1 Board of Trustees meeting, and we will stand and have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fantastic. Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda as written on our board meeting agenda. Dave? Do I have a second?
That was Brian. I'll second.
Oh, was it you?
No.
Oh, Brian. Okay, so Brian, okay.
Beat me to it.
All right. So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The motion carries. Okay. Now, I need to approve the consent agenda items, the minutes from 9/12/2023, the payment of bills, the November 14th board meeting, date changed to November 7th, ratify Evanston High School handbook appeal, excess of equipment special education.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent items that you've already mentioned. Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. We will move on to our presentations.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, I would like to introduce Coach Jerry Carroll and Coach Travis Robinette. Come on up, guys. Time is yours.
Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here. We're a little shy because we got the ping game going on and stuff like that. You guys know that, right? Today, as we had some kids who were involved in some of those things. But we would like to present our teams to you, and we'll start with the boys. And if they would just come up and stand before you, we'll give them. We're here probably because of our finishes and how well we did this year, and we're real pleased. Our boys are the 3A West Conference champions. They're also the 3A state champion runner-ups, and that's the second year in a row that we have that. Our freshman boys are Tyler Peterson, Brady Schmidt, and Kel Stokes. Our sophomore boys are Brandon Blackwell and Cade Brady. Our junior boys are Parker Green, Jackson Hall, and Riker Lind. And with Riker Lind, we would like to say he was the second place overall. And if you've ever seen somebody golf, this kid can flat golf. He lost to Parker Paxton in the state tournament. Parker shot 11 under, and our guy Riker shot 9 under, which is just incredible. If you're a golfer, you know what those numbers mean. Our senior boys are Jordan Staley, Porter Hall, who's a 2-time all-conference golfer, Caden Hyatt, who's an all-conference golfer, Luke Robinette, who's an all-conference golfer and all-state golfer, Sam Dozal, who's 2-time all-conference and 2-time all-state. At the conference meet, we probably have never had a meet go as well as it did for our boys. We won the conference meet handily, and every one of our kids, there's only 10 all-conference players, and all 5 of our boys were all-conference golfers. So on the podium with the 8 teams there, 5 of them were Evanston, and the other 5 came from the other 7 teams. And so probably could not have went better. At the state team, yes, we had high hopes to win a state championship. Our kids went well, and if you don't know, we ended up, if you do it like a basketball or a football team, we ended up being 78-1 for the year. And from last year, we were 78-1. Those boys went 160-2. Unfortunately, the loss was at the state, and it was to Riverton both times. And so we're very proud of these kids. They did a great job. Here's the other thing you may not know. and I don't know why this wasn't advertised a little bit more last year. Our boys were, in their grades, were outstanding, 3.75 for our state team, for the team. And so we've got great academics going on, we've got great athletes going on, and we are graduating a large number, 4, but we anticipate doing just as well next year and hopefully better. He did graduate, and we're glad to see him gone. But the other thing, he's a great kid too. You know what? He's a great kid. So when you go and we compete against these people, we really want to beat them. But I have great admiration for him because I saw him behave in a sportsmanlike manner. And they have been. Riker's been his teammate. Sam's been his teammate because they went this summer for America's team and went and competed with him in California. So a great kid. So I don't feel real bad. I think he's a golf legend, and he has been the premier kid, and his brother was the premier kid before that. So they just had a great legacy.
So awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Now I was stalling a little bit because we had one more girl who come, but she said she was going to be just a little late. But these are our girls. As our girls come up, our 3A West, they're repeat champions 3A West Conference golfers. They're also repeat 3A girls state runner-up. And our sophomore girls are Emerson Fessler, Madison Brown, who's all-conference. Juniors are Marley Torres, who's an all-conference, all-state golfer. Haley Ridenauer, who's a 2-time all-conference and all-state golfer. Senior girls are Callie Fackrell, an all-conference golfer. Ali Sanchez-Mackey, who's a 2-time all-conference and all-state golfer. And so as we do that, as you look at these girls, we'll say academics first, because I don't know which one of these Dane girls it was, but one of them got an A- at some point because it was, instead of 4.0, it was a 3.9 something for the total of our 5 girls. Somebody got an A- over the course of a year, as we did last year. So great academics. And as we talk about a conference golf tournament, when I say the conference golf tournament went well for our boys, it went the exact same way for our girls. We handily won the conference championship. Every girl was all conference. And again, you have 8 teams. When we got all conference up there, we had 5 Evanston girls, and they had their red on, so they stood out, all 5 of them out of 10, and the other 7 teams had to share those other 5 spots. And as we were getting ready to go, one of the coaches goes, why don't you just grab a bag and just sweep that table and put it in the bag and get on the bus and go home, is what they told us. Because we honestly took all the trophies, all the medals that we could, and represented Evanston in the best way possible. And you may know some of these girls as you got the student council president, say that again? Student body president here in front of you, and I think she has to come and visit you upon occasion and all that stuff.
Right up.
So you may know the quality of kids that we're running out here on the golf team. And again, we're going to graduate a couple great seniors here, but we're reloading. We've got young kids who are ready to go, and we anticipate that we're going to win the 4A conference championship and contend for the 4A state championship with our girls team. We just have good kids, good golfers, and they have represented us so well, and they've been so fun to be with, boys, girls, our whole program. And we're just so happy to have that. We're just pleased that you guys are recognizing them today. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Coach Robinette wanted to say something.
Thank you for celebrating these.
So you got no, step up here, please. No, step up here, please. So, because I didn't want Jerry to toot his own horn, can you please tell us what Jerry Carroll's accomplishment was?
I will toot his horn. He was coach of the year for 3A, awesome. Both in boys and girls.
That's all I wanted from you.
Yeah. One question, what's the total number of kids you have in the program?
We keep our numbers at 20. We have 19 this year, boys and girls.
Total of 20.
And the reason why, the Purple Sage Golf Course keeps us at 20 tee times for our practices. So we've been at 20 for the last 37 years.
So how do you reload that?
How do we reload it? When I try to reload, I look really hard, and Coach and I will say the same thing. We work really hard to find 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores every year.
Okay.
We need 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores. We got 3 freshmen this year that made our team, so that's great for us because we'll build those. We did not have any girl freshmen this year, and I got in trouble at the banquet by my wife when I got home. She goes, "Did you know that you say that you and Travis are out looking for young girls all the time?" And I said, I didn't realize I said that, but we really look for that, and we do try very hard, and in our tryouts, we try to make sure we will keep 2 freshmen over an upperclassman, even if their scores aren't as good, because we want 2 freshmen every chance we can get to improve it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Whoa.
Ally's clearly the only one. She's staying for the meeting.
Yeah.
Hear the echoes in here now. So, next on our presentations,
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, just introduce high school principal Merle Lester. And, time's his. If you recall, last week we talked about that accountability score. We said we'd bring each of those schools back and give them a chance to talk about their plan and where we are and where we're going. So Merle, volunteer to go first, but he and Scott will go first. Voluntold.
I thought you volunteered.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't remember having any say in that.
Let's hook up here real quick. Can you pull up the start with the picture. Go down to the bottom of it. Right here. So you guys, here is our school report card over the last several years. So you can see column H is this year, G was last year, you can see our 2 COVID years and then where we were. So this is the last, 7 years of where we've been as a high school. Can you show the left column? Can you zoom out a little bit? You can see it all? Okay, there we go. If you look at our scores this year, we're not meeting achievement in 3 areas. The high school levels have by far more requirements placed on them than any other level. And so, for example, I think the bottom 5 don't even, bottom 6 of these don't exist at any of the other schools. Let me just talk about them a little bit. Equity is where they take our lowest 25% of our kids that score on the test, and it compares them to the other lowest 25% from other schools, and then they see which one grows the most. And so what that number there being an area of weakness means that our lowest kids are not growing at the same pace as the other low kids around the state, okay? If you look at our growth score as a 3rd one down, it's a 44. That one also, so if you look at it, really we've got the 2 issues, but they're both almost the same thing, and that is growth. And so that's taking kids from one year to the next and seeing that they actually grow over a period of time. You can see that has been a little bit of our nemesis at the high school, And I actually went and I compared us to all of the schools our size and larger. Of all of the 4A schools, there's only one school that's even close to meeting expectations. So the larger the school, the more difficult it becomes. Where you see a lot of schools meeting is, there'll be a school like Cokeville where you have, 70 students, or, and so it just gets easier, the lower you go. The bigger the school, so the Natronas of the world, the Kelly Walshes of the world really struggle with this. And so, and they struggle with very similar things to what we are. So our big issue is growth. We know that that's an issue, okay? It's been an issue for quite a while. It was an issue when Mr. Rigby and I were together, and so it's been something that we've been worried about, trying to solve, how to solve that. We've got teams working on it, and, to be honest, with mixed results, as you can see. And so that one's been a little bit of a challenge. If you look at the English language learners is our next one. That one, to me, of all of them I don't understand, it's that one, and I'm a foreign language teacher. That one is really hard to understand to me. Basically what it is it looks at a foreign language student and what their growth goal is for them over the year. And so it's looking at them, but the way they measure it and everything is just ultra complicated, so it's hard to kind of nail down exactly what we're doing. We've got a district team working on it. We've got our building level team is working on it. We actually divided the class this year so that now we've got Mr. Hopkin, Vern Hopkin, and Shad Johnstone working on it as a collaborative team. We forced that issue so that they would have to collaborate and see if we can get more minds on this to kind of see if we can wrap our head around that one. But that one is a challenge. One of the things we are seeing in the schools right now is we've picked up, I think, is it five new students this year that have come to us with absolutely no English skills. And so you take them and you try and move them along, right? And so this is becoming an increasing challenge to be able to help our ELL, the English language learners. So that's something that we've really got to look at, I think, even larger strategically as a district.
Can I ask a question real quick?
You bet.
What's the threshold for meeting expectation on that line item?
On that one, hang on, I can't remember the exact number. It's right here. 19, is it?
Between 19 and 40 is green this year.
So between 19 and 40. So honestly, I thought we were going to grow this last year, and then we went down to a 6. So that honestly kind of stunned me a little bit to see what's going on there. Okay.
Normally, when I see a statistical diversion like that, or
I know, right?
Or digression like that, it's not really the kids or the results of the kids. This is some kind of other procedural problem.
And what's interesting is, in the past, one of the biggest things has been to motivate an English language learner to actually want to do well on the test, right? That has been, you think about trying to motivate a kid to take the ACT, it's like times 10 to get them to even where they'd have to do it, because it has, if I remember it has 4 major sub-tests, which ends up being like 4 days of testing. And so for them, it's a struggle. But here's the deal. Regardless, we've got to get it figured out.
How many kids do we have altogether in ELL at the high school?
I would say
It's a small number.
it's a small
So then if
number.
you have 5 brand new kids.
So we got 5 brand new ones. I would say overall in our building, we've got, I'm going to guess, 15 to 17 kids. 15 to 17, I'd say.
So you mentioned you have 5 with no English skills
Yeah.
whatsoever, but we're putting them in classes.
Yeah. So
what kind of help
So
is
next year, you should see some growth, you would
provided?
think.
well,
You won't, because they have to meet the high school standards, so they're coming in, and you would hope that they'd be able to do testing to show the growth of like a kindergarten or first grade student, because they're coming in with zero language skills.
Right.
But they're not. They're held to the high school standard, which is a student that's been in an ELL program from kindergarten.
So
through-
even if they grow 50%, you're not going to
they're
see it in
still
this
gonna show up as
reflection.
not meeting there, unless miraculously they were able to all of a sudden meet the
Hit high school
levels.
standards.
Yeah. So it's a challenge, and,
No.
yeah, it's a challenge, and it's a challenge statewide. So a lot of the schools are struggling with this element right here. Just want a couple of things. The ninth grade credit accrual, that's something that we've worked really hard. What that is it takes all of our ninth graders. If I were to design a metric to measure how well a school's doing, that'd be the one I would do. So whoever thought of that was actually pretty brilliant, because the ninth grade year is such a pivotal year. And what they're doing is they're trying to see what percentage of the kids are getting all of the credits that they need to move on, right, to the next, to stay on track for graduation. And so we've really put a lot of focus into that, and actually we're doing pretty well on that one. We're well into the green. If you look at it from the federal standpoint on that metric, because this is the state accreditation, and then there's a federal scorecard as well that you could lay next to it. On the federal scorecard, we're exceeding expectations on that element. So we're at the very highest level. So that one's a really good one. Our graduation rate, we're in the green there, but honestly, that still bugs me. Anything, I mean, we do have kids, and the graduation thing is just honestly a challenge, because you'll have kids that want to go to BOCES or other programs, and there's just so many other programs that do not count for graduation for us. They end up being a dropout, but yet it actually helps the kid move on. So some of those are a little bit frustrating.
Those kids don't get, they get counted.
There are dropouts.
There are dropouts.
Yeah. But yet, you know, so I look at David Welling, who is, he told me yesterday in the last, how long has he been there?
About a year.
About a year.
Well,
He's helped,
2.
yeah, 2 years. He's helped 68 kids receive a high school equivalency on their exams, right? So you think about, okay, so we have 12% of our kids that aren't making it there, but I'm telling you that if you took all of the kids and really combined them all with all the different supports the community has, it's in the high 90% of what we're really able to do with everybody around us, so that's a good thing.
Did they ever fix special needs to count as a graduation? So that's another,
Those go into effect this year.
is it this year?
No, I followed up with the state on that. It's a confusing procedure that they did. It's not 100% counted as a dropout, because you basically get a certificate of attendance through your 22nd birthday and kind of modified curriculum. But it also goes against your graduation rate for those students that are in an adult program. So
That's not,
they,
Yeah. So there's quite a few things, honestly, that are a little bit frustrating. I wish we could change some legislation to, you know, to help that, because a lot of people use this to kind of beat up public education, but yet some of the laws restrict us on what we can do. But I don't want that to sound like an excuse at all, because I think there's a lot of programs in the community that help get kids to do great things. Our 4-year on-time graduation still holding in. Our post-secondary readiness, that's another area that is really, really good. And so what we do for that is, there's several different ways we can meet that. One is the ACT, so our ACT scores have been going up, but part of it is using the ASVAB. So the ASVAB, the military exam, allows kids to meet that. And so there's several different mediums that we've used, and we do them systematically to help our kids get to that point. So we've been able to kind of hold that. Industry recognized credentials through our Career Tech. We've got, what was it, 175 or something like that kids finished with credentials in different Career Tech programs this last year. Really high number, so that was really cool. Would you go up to the ACT or the very top data?
Before you leave real quick.
Yeah.
The indicators for your growth on there being at 44, is it between each grade level that you are doing that? I'm assuming it's 44%.
So growth is measured
from freshman to senior?
It's measured from 8th grade to 9th grade.
Okay.
Okay, so that freshman year. It's measured from 9th to 10th on the Y-top, and it's measured from the 10th grade Y-top to their 11th grade ACT.
Okay.
So it counts all 3 years for that, okay? If you'll go to the top, I just wanted to just show a little bit more of our data, and you guys have all of our data there. Go to the Y-top. So one of the things that I put on here, if you look at our data this year, we're above the state average in 4 of the 5 areas on Y-top. It was just the one area with our 9th grade English language, our English scores. For some reason, that one group just had a terrible assessment, but the rest of them were above average. If we would have had them even close to state average, we would have met expectations. I have no doubt about it, but it was just that one exam, and you can see the drop, and then went from 54 to 46%, which was significant. So our ACT, if you look at your data, I actually just looked on the website from the state, and they actually had us at a 19.4. I think our data that I had on your sheet was a 19.35, but they had us at a 19.4 with our ACT, so you can see how those last several years on the junior ACT have gone. Okay, so what are we doing about it? Just real quick, because Mr. Thomas told me I had 10 minutes. I want to hold to that. One of the things we're doing is we're trying to get super systematized with our data. And what I mean by that is we're trying to identify every kid that's struggling, especially our equity kids, that lowest 25%. We're trying to see where they're at and then get them in the right courses. In the past, at the high school level, it's always been kind of hard, but now we have courses specifically for kids that are needing those supports. We're getting them also into our Devil Pride time routinely so that it's helping. So we're using every measure, everything that we have to our disposal to actually help kids and get them the exact support that they're needing. We're looking at this by skill. So we're breaking down the English scores, by skill, helping those kids. So we're trying to get absolutely as targeted as we can to hit them, to meet their need, I guess, is really what we're trying to do. One of the big things that we've really focused on this year at Evanston High School, I can tell you, reading is a big deal for us. Right now, I was just looking at our data, we have 40 kids in every class that we have at the high school that are significantly below grade level. Okay, so in every class we have at the high school, we've got over 40 that are, honestly, it's between like a 6th to 3rd and 6th grade reading level. Okay, so we've got high numbers that we're trying to deal with, and so it's overwhelming a little bit of our supports just because of the number that we're working with. And so I'm really grateful to the district work that we're looking at K-12 to be able to lower those numbers to where they're more manageable every year, but we do have large. So reading is a big deal. So our goal is to increase our reading scores. That's one of our big goals. And the other one is to actually improve our culture of excellence. Because one of the things as a staff we felt like was we want to get out of a culture of mediocrity. We felt like there were elements of that, and it kind of creeps in, and so that's one thing. And our student council president has been really working hard to help us increase that, right? So when we're talking about, hey, what can we do? It's when we talk about how to improve our culture, it's how do you improve it to a culture of excellence, not just improve the culture. And so those are some things, and so she's been really influential in helping us all the way through homecoming and that. So, Mr. Cullard, is there anything you want to add?
With our supports, it's really important to make sure the kids have grade level instruction and then support with extra time to get there. So those courses take up more of a kid's day, but we've done that for a couple years now, and we're seeing some of the fruits of that. It's hard work and takes a lot of our adults into there, but that's one thing we're really putting a lot of energy into to get done, freshmen especially.
Historically, in the past, at the high school level, if you had a kid reading at the 3rd grade level, you would actually teach them how to, kind of through like 3rd grade texts and stuff, but we're just having to kind of flip that to where we're actually teaching them at grade level and then getting the vocabulary and strategies to help them read at grade level. And so we're really trying to change the culture of having all of our teaching and everything be done at grade level. And I really appreciate our staff for making that large jump, because it has been quite the cultural jump, you know. You remember where we've been with that, so. Okay. Any other questions you guys have?
Yeah, so you mentioned you had the 5 new students with no English.
Yeah, so-
What helps are available, because if they can't communicate.
Well, they're in your husband's class.
Yeah, he has one of them, I thought.
He has 2
Does
now,
he?
yeah. So we've been looking at kind of as a multi-approach, and we've been very successful with doing, so if we have a student come in, so for example, we had one come in from Guatemala. If we have a student come in from Guatemala, the first thing we do is we put them in our ELL class. Of course, they need that. But then we put them in courses with as many of our Spanish speakers. We have 4 or 5 Spanish-speaking teachers at the school, so we put them in those courses. Now, being a language person, what I know is that if they always have somebody to kind of put their arm around them and translate for them, they don't learn it as fast. And so we do put them in a couple courses a day where they're actually immersed in the language, so that they're picking it up, you know, real time, and then we transport them. So your husband has a couple, and so we're trying to disperse those around, because it is challenging. The first year that they're here, our focus is the language, and so they audit their courses. They really can't necessarily pass the science portion of it if they don't understand. And so by the second year is when they actually start taking the courses for credit. And we've been very successful in doing that over the last several years of getting kids to where they're ready to graduate. But you have to, you know, your first impression would be, well, let's put them in all 8 periods in with the ELL support. But what they need is they need a varied amount of all kinds of different language challenges is really kind of what it comes down to. And so those are some of the things we've been looking at, but I can tell you it is a challenge. You know, we're trying to find it, and the teachers are like, I don't know what to do to help them, and I'm like, well, and so we try and give them a lot of strategies to help, but it is a challenge for them. So
Are they getting linked up with like BOCES in their program that like Mr. Day is teaching at BOCES out there?
We don't send them there. We feel like we need to keep them at the high school level.
But now he does like an evening program.
They do have, so really where I have the discussion is with their parents. Because if they go home and speak Spanish at home 100% of the time, they are not going to pick up the language like they need to. So it's a matter of trying to get the whole family to start moving into English speaking and stuff. So that's some of the work that we try and do is with the family to try and get them with the BOCES program. So. Anything else?
Thank you.
Hey, just while I'm up here, thanks for a great homecoming. The parade was crazy big. The football game was more crowded than anything. I think the only negative was the rock throwing, and I think we had some of our kids go rock picking, so there aren't as many rocks to throw, and so we'll keep an eye on that. And then yesterday we had 80 members of our community in the high school for a career day. And so Allie, would you talk about that? Just kind of what your perception of it was?
Yeah. So yesterday in school, we had half of our day designed for a reality town, which was where Chorna Valley mainly, I think, was set up in tables, and you got like a booklet that had like your career and how much you made. And
so tell us about your husband that was chosen.
My spouse was a stay-at-home dad and made zero money, and so I made all the money, and I had to go around and buy a car, pay taxes for my car, buy a house, groceries, and...
You did buy a dog.
Yeah, I did buy a dog. And then how many kids you have to buy that many clothes for them, and all those things. And then the second my other half of the day we spent with people around from the town. Like I worked with Phillips Law, and we had like a mock trial in there, and we learned like what it's like to be a lawyer and stuff. And then I went to the Evanston Regional Hospital one, and we learned all the things it takes to be a medical worker. So it was very successful. It was fun.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I had fun.
Do you have money at the end of your day?
Yeah, I had 1,000 in my savings.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, but that wouldn't happen in real life.
I asked Ally, I was like, so what did you learn? And she goes, I need to choose a husband well.
Atta girl.
So,
That's important.
anyway, it was successful. I wanted to just thank the community. 80 people came in. And, I mean, how neat is that? That we have that many people willing to come in? None of them got paid a dime, and so, pretty cool, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, that is the last of our presentations for this evening. We're going to move on to some discussion items. Mr. Thomas.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, the first discussion item is the delegate assembly for the Wyoming School Boards Conference, which is November 15th, 16th, and 17th in lovely Casper. And we get 2 votes, which means we can have 2 delegates. We can have, I think, 1 delegate that can vote twice. Is that right?
Yep.
Again, it's, Wyoming School Board puts the conference on. The keynote will be more focused on motivation, I think, than any topic driven this year. They do a pretty good job selecting keynotes that are interesting. If you're planning to attend, you need to let us know. We'll get your rooms around Coda. And I think Krista went last year, and have a good time. So the board needs to identify the delegates that will vote for them on the resolutions that will be proposed.
Who's going?
Who would like to attend? Dan will be going.
I don't know my weekend yet, or my...
So the board can put the burden on those 2 votes on Dan, if you choose, and then if someone else attends, we usually ride together, so the delegate assembly is the first of the activities, but Dan, you'll be there earlier, right?
Right.
Because of his responsibility on running the school boards. So we can work that out. The board can identify Dan as your voters.
Do we need to do that right now? I trust Dan.
I think there were some emails that says they need to know immediately.
Yeah, November 7th, we have a board meeting. We could vote then if you want, but we can identify Dan now. If he's going, I think, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan, you willing to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Next item is dome update. Many of you got a chance to go up and walk around a little bit before this meeting. Pretty impressive. I can't remember a project that was ahead of schedule and moving forward like this project is. We had such bad luck at the beginning to see it progress the way it is now. Pretty impressive. So timeline, as we talked about, Jeremy, you can come up. Timeline, concrete all should be poured by the end of this week. Electric should be available. Remember, that was one of the concerns, that potentially we wouldn't get the transformer we needed. Well, we will get it. And we'll start, I don't know what you call it, blowing up the domes. 1st of November, our goal is to have both domes inflated by the end of November.
So, thank you, Superintendent Thomas. Chairman Peterson, members of the board, as many of you had the chance to go up there and see, there's been a lot of work done. It's been really, really exciting. We were really thrilled last week when we learned that we would have the right electrical components in to be able to move forward with the actual blowing up of the domes. And as was mentioned, that'll be starting end of November, or end of October, 1st of November. We'll start with Dome, we call it Dome 2, and then proceed over to Dome 1. We're getting to the point now that we've started talking about flooring. As we've mentioned, the one dome will have turf like this, 1/4-inch pad, and then the turf on top, so there is a little bit of cushion. So if people ask, hey, is it going to be grandma's Carpet, no. It's a little bit thicker, and there is a little bit of a cushion. The other dome will actually have 3 different colors in it. It'll be what's called a Mondo flooring. It'll be this probably almost 1/4 inch thickness. This will be most of it, and then the lines will be done in the blue and the red. And so in there, they'll have it marked out for, on the outside, track, more so just long, or a straight shot, so they can be doing their hurdles and kind of work on that. The corners would be really tight, but if people did want to run, there would be a little bit around there. And then it'll be set up for basketball, volleyball, pickleball, in that. Now remember, we also last year bought that sports court from Washington, and so that's something that we could actually physically put on top of this. And so if, depending on the activity that's going on, we could run a volleyball game where the sports court is, as well as where this Mondo flooring is. And so trying to provide some flexibility. 99% of the time, this will just stay green, and so we have something like that. The beautiful thing about this, for you wrestlers out there, the wrestling mats can go in either one, and so you could actually have 2 domes set up for wrestling. And so there's some exciting things. Our next big achievement will be to watch those things blow up and go over there.
They're actually blowing up, or?
So what they're going to do is, on Friday, we're going to set the air handlers. They're big 10-ton units. What they'll do is they will attach they'll roll out the mat or the canvas. There's 2 pieces to that, so then they'll tie those 2 pieces together, so now it'll be one big piece. Then they will tie that to the HVAC unit, and they'll start to push air. That air will allow them to literally, kind of like the days when you used to in elementary school have the parachutes, okay, kind of do that same idea. So they'll be able to physically move that canvas, and then they will start closest to the HVAC unit, which will be on the west side. They'll bring that fabric down. They'll then take that 4-inch metal that you saw that was already there, that angle iron, and they'll lay that, and then they'll screw that down. And so that starts to tighten it, and then they work their way basically from the west side, north-south, till the east. Then they have 2 options. They can already have the doors already set, or they can then bring the doors in and, kind of like a canvas tent, unzip the thing and then attach to all the doorways, and then move from there. Once that's done, then they'll be able to plug in the electrical. All the electrical lighting has already been weaved through that canvas, and so it'll be really just a matter of plugging it in and then attaching the light fixtures to that. So at the same time, they'll have the secondary unit hooked up as well for that.
Would it be possible, when they do the second one, not the first one, to let some of us know so we come watch? They'd already have it figured out. Like the first one. I would like to see how that's done. I think it's quite interesting.
In fact, when they get ready for the first one, I'll have Sherry send something out, and you guys are more than willing to come up.
We'll give you a big poll and you can stand
Your curiosity is probably piqued as much as mine. On paper and what I've read, that's how it happens. And we'll watch. What they'll do is, on that cement pad that you saw, they'll actually lay plastic down, and that plastic will help them be able to maneuver that canvas a little bit easier. But yep. So exciting. So again, thank you for all your support. As was mentioned, a little bit of a late start, but in 6 weeks, and that's literally what it's been, in 6 weeks, you see what we have today. And it's been tremendous, and we're kind of on the downhill slide of it, doing a lot of cleanup and finalizing the things from there. So If you do have any other questions, please let me know at any time. If you want to go up on site, feel free to go up there and wander around a little bit. They really like it when you've got a notebook with some paper, makes you look really official. You watch the guys scatter around. So.
You want to watch, just grab a shovel and hold it for a while.
So, any other questions on the domes? Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, Chairman Peterson, is contract renewal for the board attorney. Kind of a, and I'll say it's a guideline that we've tried to set since being superintendent, is roughly every 3 years we go out to bid for some of our specialists, including health insurance, property casual insurance, board attorney. And last year, if you remember, we extended Jeff's contract an additional year because of the work with our lawsuit. What I would like to recommend is that we just extend a 3-year contract to Jeff next month, because that's how long this lawsuit's going to be. His advice has been sound. He's done a great job. I just think it makes sense. We wouldn't have to go through hoops of RFPs and that kind of stuff. I just recommend that we do that.
I object. Thank you.
We can't list the pros and cons because we all know how to do that now.
Any discussion with it at all?
So next month it'll be on.
Yeah, next month it'll be on, but I did discussion item, so I didn't know if we needed to. Discuss it. Discuss it. So we extended it last year, right? And I guess this is my only, for 1 year, and this is my question, and I agree 100% with it. I agree with the 3-year. Are we going to get pushback from other attorneys where we're not going back out to bid on the thing? That's the only thing. I would love to I'd love to approve it next month. I think he's done a fantastic job, but I'm just wondering if we're going to get pushback.
It's not a policy that we do this every 3 years. It's just a guideline that we set probably 2 boards ago.
Okay.
Because they wanted to, provide some opportunity, flexibility. Before that, we had the same individual for 20-some years.
Okay.
Regardless, I think, given the current circumstance, it creates an extenuating.
No, I agree 100%, but I was just wondering if it's not policy, then we're okay. So, I mean, that's fine.
Part of that, before you guys approve the contract, is Mr. Phillips and I will negotiate terms.
Okay.
So this wasn't the one, this was the old contract?
The one we're looking at in here.
This is an example of the old contract.
Yeah. Be tough.
I will.
Okay. Beat them up.
I'm not that easy.
Chairman Peterson, item D is foreign language trip request, and I'm going to let, we have no principals here anymore. They're all high school principals are gone. But this is a trip request from our foreign language department. If you notice the request, it kind of checks all the boxes that the board has in the past. This is not during school. Students will have minimal fundraising. It's not even 2024, it's in 2025. They've done that to make sure they have time if kids need to raise money. It's significant, it's $5,000 per student, but this is a student choice. Amazing trip. But it's something they want to start getting together and planning. Principal Lester's already talked about them. We don't want to see this as a burden on the community, so if the students need to raise money for this, they probably need to get a job.
Yep.
And the teachers and chaperones are raising their own funds for this?
Yes.
So I guess my question on this discussion item is, why is it before us for approval if it is during the summer months? Is it because of liability put back onto the school? Why is the approval having to come from us for this trip?
It is part of our policy that any trip outside of the state is approved by the board. The board has taken the position that they really don't want to allow school time for this. We've kind of had that over the past. So this one just happens to fit all those marks. They want authorization to have school employees participate. But they're going through a company, I think it's EF Tours. So basically they provide the liability, they provide
everything.
really the preparation, but it is our employees taking our students.
Okay.
It needs to be approved.
I have one question. It says number of participants to be determined. Is there a minimum amount with the travel company that they have to have?
You know, I'm not sure. I think, again, the shock value of $5,000 in a year and a half may limit this.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they can keep us updated in terms of how many. I'm sure the tour company has some limit, but
Probably.
I don't think we'll be the limiting factor, or they'll be the limiting factor. I just think the price is probably the limiting factor. I recommend that you approve this.
Safety is the only thing I'm concerned about, leaving the country. Who knows what the world's gonna be like in another year?
It does say they're gonna have the insurance though to cancel for
All right.
like extenuating
Circumstances,
circumstances.
yeah.
I think it's on the
For
first
sure, I want
page.
to live in Dodge.
I just saw that.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
say something about that illness and something else, so.
Okay.
The world of war will count.
What it is.
Probably wouldn't go then.
I'm guessing they would cancel it.
Yeah, that's probably a good excuse to cancel.
And that might be a limiting factor for a parent too.
Yeah.
Next item?
Yeah.
Next item, outside recess temperature change. We have found the ability to control the temperature. This was brought to me by our elementary principals as a team, and they would like to provide notice of kind of the direction we're going. We have scoured our board policy books. There is no existing policy on a temperature requirement to go out to outside recess. There are some, I swear, when I was principal in North Elementary, it was -10.
I think it was positive 10.
Well, I think it was
But that
negative
was-
10, I
that's a
swear,
picture.
because I was out there, I swear it was negative 10. But I'll let Principal Francis kind of talk for the group. You're on.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, thank you for your time this evening. This all originated from, I had some of my PTA board members come to me with a concern. They spoke to you last year when we were talking about domes, about that possibility, if you remember. They came with this concern about outside recess temperature, and what their concern was is, if you remember, our winter was so heavy last year, we had many days, and we've had some numbers float around, 45, 43, doesn't really matter, but we also know the research tells us that kids need unstructured playtime. It helps brain growth and development, and so we decided to check our handbooks to see what it said, and as we found out, it was about 10 degrees was our inside versus outside recess threshold there, and that's real feel. So we check our different weather sites. We use, what do we use? WeatherBug most of the time on those. And if it says 10 degrees, then we're under 10 degrees, or 10 degrees, we're supposed to be inside. We found that there were many times where the sun was shining, there was no wind, and it was 8 degrees, and kids are sitting in the hall on Chromebooks or whatever they were doing just so that we could manage it. And at Uinta Meadows, it's a specific problem because we have 450 kids in that building, and it gets pretty crowded and very, very difficult to manage as well. So we did some research, sent out an email across the state to other elementary principals, and you'll see in your board docs there, we have 11 responses from 11 different principals. All of them are at 0 degrees. Often they have more moderate temperatures than we do as well. And so we felt necessary to move our temperature to reflect kind of our peers in the state there at 0 degrees. We reached out to parents across all of our schools and took it to our board meetings as well, our PTA board meetings. Haven't had any pushback really at all from those parents. In fact, North Elementary called over 60 parents there, and most all were in agreement that we need to get kids outside and playing more often. We also I personally spoke with my teachers and paraprofessionals, and the paraprofessionals are the ones that are really impacted by this, those that are observing recess and monitoring that stuff, and they're out there in the cold. And I don't know which one of our principals said it, but if you're dressed for 10 degrees, you're dressed for 0 degrees. And so we felt that necessary to move our handbook there to 0 degrees, and we just wanted to inform you of that update to all of our handbooks in case you get some calls or questions about that. Are there any questions from you?
No.
Great. No, agreed.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's all it's about.
Wait a minute, before you run away, did I understand that that is a raw temperature or a wind chill temperature?
It's a real feel.
Real temperature.
Wind chill.
Yes. Good
Yep.
job.
Well, and we still have our discretion as principals, right? If it's raining slushy and we have a chance for kids, some of that safety to be an issue, then we can always pull in our kids on that as well. We just wanted to, I mean, if we had some parents see that we were out at 8 degrees, but it was a nice sunny day, if our handbook said 10, then we could be in a little bit of trouble there, so we wanted to reflect that 0 degrees for that. And really what that does is there might be some morning recess that's under those 0 degrees, but the vast majority of our days, we could get our kids out for lunch recess there if it was at that 0 degree temperature. So that's what we're shooting for. We just want kids to play. I think they need it. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having the extra gear too. I know North does. I've heard you guys do too. It's just some extra gear in the office for some of those kids that need it. So.
That's easy. No, that's easy. So, that brings us to the end of our discussion items. Now we will move on to public comments, if there are any. Crickets. Second time in a row.
Only the second?
Well, in a row, I'm just saying, in a row. There wasn't anything last time, so I have a chance of beating my record today, so.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I am going to slow down, painfully. So, next on there is our action items, and action items A, we have no personnel to deal with.
We'll skip it.
We'll skip action item A. We'll move on to action item B. We need to have a motion to approve the early diploma as discussed in the executive session.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussions? No discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Next action item C, is for the approval of the foreign language trip during the year of 2025.
June 2025.
June of 2025.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Fantastic. We will move on to our board roundtable. Any discussion? Any comments?
I would just like to say what a fantastic homecoming it was. I was hoping Merle and Scott were going to be here, but, I mean, not just a shout out to them as principals, but the high school staff, the maintenance people who did a lot of hard work. Porter's Fireworks, I don't know if they really get thanked for that, but that was more amazing than the July 4th presentation, honestly.
Now, I confess that I missed it, but clear out in Almy, I went into my wife and I said, "Is that thunder? What am I hearing?" That must have been
It
a
was
heck of a show.
fantastic.
It was an
And so
amazing show.
Porter deserved a big thank you as well, so.
And we won.
And we won.
And they won. Good. No, as I sat down there and back to it, I really think that's the most I've seen at a game. I sat down there on the field and I was looking up there and back over where we have our concession stand. I mean, it was just kids layered back up behind there. And then the expansion of our bleachers, they were all full out through there and then back up over there behind the scoreboard. And as I sat there, I says, I really think this is probably the biggest crowd that I've seen at a game in Evanston, so.
I think the time was good, but
Yeah,
the
the
evening
weather
game like
was
that,
good.
and the weather was good, but
And the
it
weather
was really
was
nice that
fantastic.
businesses were
Full moon.
able to,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
businesses didn't have to close down to let their employees go
Right.
to it.
Right.
So I think it made a difference.
The parade was 5 deep out here.
Yeah. Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
impressive.
And we went through 2 bags of candy by like here.
They said, my wife said it was about 45 minutes for them to get all through where she was at,
Yeah,
so
it was
it
long,
was good.
too.
Very impressive.
Good parade, very good. Kudos
That's what I was
to Evanston. So,
Everybody.
next thing I want to bring up really quick and before this board and everybody that's out there, I want to thank Jackie as our trainer. She does a fantastic job, and I want her to know that she is appreciated and she has our backing for what she does, so.
Agreed.
Yep, good point.
Yeah, so.
The other thing I'd like to bring up about Jackie is, ladies, if you want some new shoes that have Red Devils on them, she's got some. And they're pretty cool, yeah,
There you go. Her shoes are cute.
yeah.
All right.
Chairman Peterson, I just do have one thing. I know Kristen looked at me like, don't say a word, but one thing. Remember, on Tuesday, the 12th, Superintendent Dagenfelter will be at the Strand for a community event, town hall, town forum. We were able to submit a question that she'll ask. I think they'll have 3 questions that have been submitted by the community, and then there will be an open mic for anyone who has questions. Our question deals with the pressure that's on public schools and what Superintendent Dagenfelter is doing to support public schools.
Thursday, the 12th? Like in 2
Thursday,
days?
12th,
Okay.
2 days.
Thursday the 12th, huh?
Yeah,
it's on
and
Thursday.
6 o'clock, is that right? 6 o'clock.
Any other discussion, roundtable talk? None? An hour and 4 minutes.
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second to adjourn.
3 seconds.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We are
give you
done.
time to finish patting yourself on the...
No, I know. He's ready to go.
Well, I know what you're waiting for.